All right, well, let's get started. So, thank you all for joining. We're super excited. My name is Charles Bomberger. I met many of you as we traveled around the US and spoke to you live. If not, to those who haven't met me, uh, I'm in the marketing department. I'm super excited about you all and the conversion over to Brightway. And this is an important topic that we're talking about today, which is data integrity and how to fix that before that data comes over into Fusion, right? There is a migration from the system you're in now, Epic, over into Fusion. And it's very, very important for the data to be correct, right? And for a lot of different reasons. But one is that I want to really touch on is email marketing. We really have two types of email marketing that we do for you, right? One type is really transactional, right? It is following the life of the policy. It is based on triggers that are happening with the policy. Think about a welcome kit. That welcome kit's asking for reviews. It's asking for, um, referrals. It's telling them about service. There's more retention-based emails as people are coming up on their renewal. All of this happens over email. So if we don't have the correct email, your client isn't getting this information. And it's very important because this is just keeping, you know, the business on the books as much as possible through sort of being proactive, right? With their policy and what's happening with their policy. If a if a carrier has an underwriting comment or question, we'll also send them a note as well. So these are all really important things to have from a transactional standpoint to have those emails correct. There's also a revenue part of this, which is new business part of this, which is we use those emails for marketing automation to bring those customers back to you, those existing customers, because we're cross-selling for you, right? We're sending emails on your behalf so that your existing clients can come to you for another line of business. And the only way we can do that is if we have their email. And in some cases, we will start using SMS. There's a little bit more rules around SMS. We need to make sure we have the opt-ins and things like that, but that will be something in the future, right, as part of these marketing automations. So it's really, really, really important for us to have the data correct in the system before it comes over. And so that is really what we're here for. I just wanted to stress the importance of it. And we do have, there are charges associated with incorrect emails or blank emails within our system. So that's another reason that we're here today is to help you, maybe clean up some of that information because communicating with our clients really does help keep retention. And then, as I've mentioned, drives retention, drives revenue. And not only from a cross-sell standpoint, but we've talked about win back. We've talked about, those campaigns where we're bringing folks that have left your agency back to your agency. We can only do that. We can only bring them back to your agency if we have their email addresses. If in the system all of that information is correct, and it's not going to you or it's not going to an email that doesn't exist. Same things with quote not closed. A quote not closed campaign. These are all automated based on what's happening in the system and the X date, and we're getting in front of these people to bring them back to you. So a lot of different ways from a retention standpoint, from a prospective client standpoint, from a um, past client, and then getting more out of your existing client. So the data is very important to us in order to keep these campaigns going. So with that, I'm gonna send this over to a familiar face to all of you. Kim is going to walk you through different reports and things that you can do within Epic to make sure that your data is clean when it comes over.
Great. Thanks, Charles. Hi, everybody. So I know a couple of you have already reached out to me. The first thing that, we're really stressing on is phone numbers and also email addresses. Charles did a great job on the email addresses, on the phone numbers too. And Charles, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. When the calls come into the service center, they need those calls to be there, those phone numbers to be accurate so they can route that client to the appropriate service. Yeah. So phone numbers are very, very, very important also in our system. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. Um, Let me get this out in here real quick. All right. So can everybody see my, I don't know why it's paused. So hold on, sorry. Try that again, because I was paused. Everybody see my screen now? We good? Okay, perfect. All right, so everybody, this is just the home page from Epic. I also did want to let you know if for the people who have not reached out to me regarding the report, we can do a report. You can definitely reach back out to me and I will send this to you. But if you go into your reports and marketing, I can send you this report. And the report is, and don't look at my reports, I got a ton of my reports. Yours won't look like this. But I will send this address list, policy list report with email and phone number. So what that's going to do, and I can fill this out for you, but the biggest thing is just on your criteria, as you all know in reports, the biggest thing is just to make sure that your branch number is in the selected field here. All the rest of this is going to be filled out for you. Okay, so I can send it to you. I can copy this report to your My Reports. So if you haven't already asked me to send that to you, just send me an email and I'll get that. So that's the first step. And because what that report's going to do is it's going to look like this. So we're going to preview it here. This is for my agency. So yes, my agency, even the home office, we've cleaned up our data. It's very, very important to get this in there, but it's going to provide you this report. And if you go to your next page here, sorry, my mouse is acting a little weird. As you can see right here, it'll show you that this account does have both the phone number and the email address. And what you're looking for is this missing information. So this missing information, so like this account, it's missing the phone number. And it may not totally be missing on the account. And I'll show you where if you're like, oh, I know that one has a phone number, there is actually two places that pull a phone number. And I'll show you that when we get
And we
into
might
the,
be seeing the same screen that you previously had, still on the modified criteria. Didn't
okay.
open. I think you opened a specific account, but we're not seeing it.
No, I just went to the report. So,
Yeah, we still see the report screen where like all the agencies are listed.
oh, okay, so that's what I'm still on. So this is
Sorry
the
about that.
report. So you see like 2880 Netherton LLC. Is that correct?
Kim, if you'll share, instead of sharing your screen, you share the whole page, share the screen as opposed to the page. What you've done is shared the page. And so when you change your page, we're not seeing it.
Okay. So sharing options. It tells me I'm sharing my whole screen. Let's try this
All
one.
we're seeing is just that the applied menu screen. It says branch. There you go. There it
There
is.
you go. Okay, there we go. I don't know why this is doing this, to be honest with you, but I figured out how and when I jump to the next screen. So, all right. So this is the actual report. So when that report comes up, so I'll go back as you guys can normally see, right? I'm just going to go to my next page where I got my data. So I'm just page downing. And this is the information that you're looking for. This is their phone number, and then this is their email address. So this account is absolutely fine because it has both a phone number and an email address. This account is missing phone numbers. This account is missing the email address. Okay, so to clean this up, I'm gonna go get the account. You can either do it by policy number or by name, however you generally like to look at, look your stuff up in Epic. And so in that case, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to come, and I do not know. Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing and try sharing again. Because it's making me share like individual screens. Okay, so now do you guys see Epic homepage?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Now it's doing it. All right. So on my report, the first one I had a problem with was 2880 Netherton. I'm going to look that client up. Okay. So as you can see here, the first place I notice that it's missing a phone number is anytime you have a phone number properly on an account, it's going to show up in this little card right here. Sometimes the additional may have it too, but this is based off of the account detail. So this is where when we're data testing the conversion, we prefer you guys having everything in the account detail because that's really where AMS 360 and Fusion is going to be pulling that information. So inside that account, sorry, hit the wrong button here. Inside the account detail, okay, as you can see, it is missing the phone number right here. I'm going to write this account down because I'm actually going to put a phone number in here, but of course it's not going to be the right one. All right, so in order to get that phone number in there, all you have to do is come down here and put your phone number in. Okay, and then just tab. And this is also where you can put an account email address in there. So make sure it is. And you saw on that it did have the email because it had it in a different spot, but go ahead and put it in both spots. Okay, and then once we get it in there, you are going to come to the contacts here.
Am I the only one that is missing email on that account detail screen? I know I have it on the contacts, but not on the account details, I don't believe.
Okay, so you are probably on a personal lines account.
Yes.
So if
Okay.
you're on a personal lines account, it is different. So
Okay.
for the people that are doing commercial, they'll have an account email on the account detail. That is generally used for the business email. And then when you go into, does that make sense? So like if the business has a main email account, that's what that is used for. And then you go into the contacts to put like the owner's email or any other contact you would have on that commercial one. But on the personal line side, what you're going to get is you're going to get no email. So if I look up a personal lines account, right, this is my account. If you go into the account detail on that, they do look differently. So good point, Coleman. So on this one, you can only put the email or the phone number in there, and the phone number would be right here.
So
And then
how can you add the email?
okay, so the emails, you have to go onto the accounts, or I'm sorry, onto the contacts. Now, I did want to point out a couple things on this contact too. So when you create a client, when you create an account in Epic, it automatically created your contacts for you. So if you put two named insureds in there, so if you put Charles Wombold and then Kimberly Wombold, the system automatically creates those contacts for you. Now, in the past, you might not have paid attention to them. You just went right to your policies and added your policies. So some of this information might not be put into the contacts, which would be the email address and their particular phone numbers. So once you have once the system generates those contacts, now if you only put one named insured in there, it is only going to create the one named insured. Try not putting, like when you're creating an account. I mean, this is a cleanup, but if you're putting anything new and you're adding an account, what we're seeing and is not converting over real well is when you are putting the name of the insured as like Chuck and Kim in this field. So you're creating one contact basically named Chuck and Kim. Okay, we want you to do them individually. So this should just be an individual field and do it like that. And then the additional contact is where you're going to put that second named insured. Okay, and once you do that, what it's going to create is that additional contact. It'll create it like this. It'll create two contacts for you. When you go into the contacts, we're going to go into Chuck's. Okay. This is where that email is. And a lot of people are like, I can't get in there. You have to hit this edit button. So when you hit the edit button, it's going to bring up where you can put, like I put my husband's cell phone number in here. And then here's the email address. And you can add multiple emails if you want, but at least make sure you're getting one in there. You know, the primary contact information where you want all the marketing to go to. Okay, but if I wanted to add more, I can. Okay, and then we can put a description like, okay, once you're done with that, you just X out of here. Oh, sorry, you gotta save it. All right. My screen is not being nice today. There we go. There is a save contact summary. And then it will fill that in for you and see how it now put that secondary one I added in there. Okay, so you don't have to add the two, but just make sure you're getting the one in there. And then just after that, you X out of here. And then you would also then update if you want that second named insured. Okay, so that's my cell phone number. A lot of people, and see how it kind of fills in this card for you. So once you fill that card in, you know you've got it right if you see both of them. And then now if I would run that report would show both fields on there. The one thing I do want to say, one of my locations had already started to do this, and he reran his report and he goes, well, I know I put it in there. What's going on? It's probably, it depends on who you have as primary or if you have like, if you don't have any information on this contact and you list them as primary, that is why this will be blank and that report will be blank because you have the person that doesn't have the information in there as the primary. In order to change that, you can right click on it and hit change contacts to primary. And it'll say, do you want to make it primary? Yes. Now it changes the card and your report to that client. Okay, so it all depends on who you have listed as primary here.
So you're
Kim, is it important that we have it on the other insured?
The primary status
No,
or the information?
The information on the secondary insured.
I mean, I would say yes, because especially maybe not so much for the marketing, because as long as you have one email address that you know that they're viewing and they're going to get communications with. The only thing that I am really adamant on having both of the information in there for is, let's say I call from my cell phone to the service center, it's going to recognize my phone also. To where if like my husband's phone number, which most everybody has cell phones now. I mean, I don't have a home phone. And if I'm calling in from mine and his is on the account, it'll have to kind of, it won't recognize, and it'll have to kind of reroute my call a different way through the Brightway system.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions on the primary versus and this is where, you know, if that does not show up, but you know you had the phone number in the system, check on your contacts first to see if you have a phone number in there. And if you do, make sure then it's just transferred over to the account detail. Again, this is where we prefer all of this going. The data comes over much better if it's on this account detail screen. Okay. So that's getting your email addresses in and getting your phone numbers
Kim, is
in.
that also going to cause a problem with personal lines? Because I'm also not seeing an email address on the account details.
Okay, so I'm on a personal lines one, and the email address is in the contact. It's only in the contact.
Okay, so it's only, so we shouldn't have an issue with that, correct? With it transferring over?
Correct, yes, because they recognize that, and when we were data testing, we've been data testing how the data is coming over, and I've been working with Nikki, and that is still coming over, even though it's in the contact. It comes over just a little easier and better in the account detail, but we did recognize to the system that on personal line side, that email address is not in there. Yep, so you're fine on that. All right. The other thing that I want to do is to talk about is your activities. Okay. This is a part of the data cleanup too. So on your homepage, so these are all my open activities. So if you have open activities, what we needed to do is, unless you're, I mean, I'm a little behind, yes, but I know a lot of people have these activities that have been open up for years because you're just not paying attention to them. But if you have any open activities greater than the date of 6/1/25, you're going to want to get those closed. Okay, and if you haven't checked up on an activity in probably a year, I mean, I don't know how accurate it would be at this point now anyway, but if you have open activities, please make sure that not only you, but everybody that has Epic Access and would be entering clients, most of yours, at my hunch, will be that you guys have open SBAP activities, which is new business activities that nobody pays attention to. Just get those closed, and to close them, very, very easy. So I know this one is taken care of. All you have to do is click, right click on it and hit close. And then hit successful. Now, guys, I do know this one has been taken care of, so I'm not just closing a random activity. And now it closes it. Okay, so anything greater than June 1st, 2025, get them closed, and also make sure your office staff has them. If you guys are owners, I can also have you to where you can view all of your users' open activities. So you can check up just to make sure that they're doing too. All right, so just make sure you're getting that done too. The other report that I want to kind of say, and this is something we know we're not going to hold you to it, but if you have, and I know this is going to be kind of a funny thing because none of us have time, but if you have time, I would review my expiration report. And the one thing I want to look on, what you want to kind of look on the expiration report, we're not really too worried about downloading companies, especially if you are a franchise that stay on top of your downloads. It's the non-downloading ones that we want to make sure that we're capturing. So if you know that you have an MGA policy and let's say you forgot to renew it this year, you're going to want to bring that into an active policy. So you're going to want to go in and renew that in the system. So that way your policies, all your active business is coming over in an active status into Fusion and AMS 360. Now, if they are bringing over history, so will you lose it? No, but it's always better. But in their system, it's going to show inactive also. So you don't want that. You want to make sure that you're getting your commissions. Now I know I'm going to harp on the orphan list, which you all know I love. But let's definitely try to get that active as much as possible. And to do that, you all should already have the expiration report that I send you. when you first came into the system. You should have your broker commission, and you could actually run your broker commission report for a year too if you think that you didn't renew them last year. But you could do your broker commission report or your expiration report. This is your expiration report. And then what you'll want to do is leave everything alone except for this line expiration date. I want it for a year out. So what I could do is I could say I want it today all the way till 10/29/2026. So what this would do, this date range is going to do is it's going to give me all my policies that are coming up for renewal from today until a year out, which is 10/29/2026. That'll give you all your policies, what company they're with, and that way you can look. What I would do is look for all my non-downloading carriers. So your MGAs, your Palomars, if you guys do Palomar Earthquake, any specialty company, maybe Gibna or any of those little companies that don't download. If you can't remember if a company downloads or not, you can definitely reach out to me. But there is also in the training documents, there is a listing of, we have that file that says that companies that download in their formats. Well, if you don't see your company on there, then they don't download. So you're going to have to address those. But generally, this is going to be most of your MGA book and your little specialty companies. All right. So I would definitely do that also, just to make sure that you have all your active policies converting over. I'm going to harp on the orphan list again. Go to the orphan list, guys. And please don't just scour for your franchise's name, because I get that all the time. Well, I only look for ones that you guys identify. There's a ton that we don't identify, and we don't want to incorrectly identify them. So the blank ones have to be looked at also. Now we are trying to clean this up in the background, but if you guys could help us and just make sure that you and all your office staff and all your producers are reviewing that for any of yours. If you could clean yours up prior to your conversion, that would be wonderful. We would love that. And it's only beneficial to you guys because you get your money, right? So let's go ahead and look at the expiration report too. When you're looking at accounts, again, this is our wish list. Do we expect that you all are going to have, all the time in the world to do this? We have also been noticing that generally this is for non-downloading companies, but the other thing that came over in our data testing is, for some reason, and if you guys can tell me why, if you are one of the ones that are doing this, why you're doing this, I would appreciate that, because I can't figure it out. This policy line annualized premium field, some people are putting really weird numbers in there, like $100,000 or $10 or something like that. So please don't put anything in that field. It's left blank for a reason. If you're dealing with downloading companies, this is fine because the download does it and it figures it out, so that it's system generated. But there are several. It is more concentrated on our MGA stuff, because that's kind of where you guys are manually putting in these figures. But this comes when you're adding policies. It's creating a little problem with, it's like you're filling out this and don't fill that out. So only the policy estimated premium generally is what I was telling you guys to fill out in training. The annualized premium field is creating just a little bit of problem through the AMS fusion system. Okay, so they've asked me to say, hey, from here on out, please don't try to put any of that in. They're going to be cleaning it up. There's a lot of stuff that they're scripting and cleaning up for you automatically, but we just don't want it to keep going. Any questions so far, guys? So we got, get your orphans off, make sure your policies are active, try running a expiration report, or if you don't think your expiration report is correct because you haven't been manually renewing non-downloading policies, then I would honestly run your broker commission report for a year and see what you've gotten paid on and be like, oh yeah, that's an MGA company. Let me go check that one. Because even though you may not have renewed it in Epic, you probably still got your commission on it because we can pay off the history policies, which we do all the time. Okay, so that's another report you could run to try to capture that data. Any questions on any of that, guys?
No.
Okay. And you guys always, if you are stuck, you need some help, just call me. I mean, I'm a little crazy right now because we're trying to make this as smooth as possible for you guys and the data conversion. So, but definitely reach out to me. The one thing I did want to say, and we wanted to bring up is due to the security reasons, I know, including my office, we had stored credit card numbers. All right, so they are running a script that they will be wiping that from our system, okay, because it is a huge security risk and cyber liability risk. So that is, I think Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, that email went out yesterday or the day before?
Yes, it was earlier this week. There was an email that went out yesterday. It should be, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that script is already up and, well, it's ready. It's being reviewed by Brightway's IT team to run very soon, either today or tomorrow. So so don't put any more credit cards information in the system, and I mean anywhere, because they have a program where they can run and search the entire system. So they did find it. They found it in our sticky notes. They found it in our comment sections. So, you know, if it was in there, they found it. So, you know, it was common for us, to be honest with you. And I told them, yeah, my agency does it. We either put it here in this comment on the account detail, you know, for the insureds that were like, oh, just run the card you have on file. Well, that's where they're removing it. Or if I had put a sticky note on there, they found it there too. In the contacts, you could have also done it in the contacts here, under the payment methods. So if you found it, if you have it in there, just know that those will be wiped clean. Okay, and that data will not go over anyway.
What about voided checks? If we've had them in our documents, are those going away?
I don't think so, Charles. I think it was just credit card formats, correct?
It's a good question.
That's correct.
Well, that's
Credit card.
just credit card. Okay.
Yep.
That's Nikki.
Yep.
Nikki.
That was Nikki, yeah. Nikki and I have been going through all of this and trying to get everything straightened out. So, but yeah, so that's Nikki, where she's data testing all your stuff. And Nikki, is that
Okay.
going to be ran today or tomorrow, I think?
We're targeting November 4th, so there's a little bit of time.
Okay, so just kind of know that that's happening. Nikki, did I miss anything? I think according to my notes, I have everything.
That was excellent.
Yeah. So, oh, so make sure, number one things, your address, your phone numbers. Oh, I didn't do address, guys. I don't know if it's this group, but I will tell you that I do have some franchises that were not putting addresses in the system. I don't know why, but you know, you got to make sure that your address is in there. I also told my agents to make sure you have the right addresses. If you can try to do that, that's the best thing too, because again, there's a lot of marketing things that are going. And if you change the address on the policy, but if you didn't go back into the account detail and change it in the account detail when you made that change on the carrier site, you're going to have an old address form. So you may want to also, when you're looking at the phone numbers and the email addresses, just kind of hopefully off your mind, verify that that address is correct for them too. But I did have some locations that weren't even putting addresses in there, guys, and that's just going to, their data is just not going to come over properly in Fusion. And Charles, do you guys, would that affect your accounting? For some reason, I think in my accounting, in all the conversations I've had accounting, that if that data is not in there, does that affect that? Do you know? Or Nikki, do you know?
I would have to
Yeah,
find
I don't remember, but it could. So if it could, let's just err on the good side of just having that email address in there and that street address. Okay. Other than that, that's kind of really all I had for you guys. But if you do need anything, as always, I'm still here. Reach out to me. And the Brightway team is phenomenal. So if you guys have any, I think you're going to be super excited with their technology, way more than what we ever could have offered you. So, and everybody is more than willing to help you guys. So if you have any questions, concerns, or even if, I was speaking with Nick, the CEO today, this morning, and even if you have, hey, this thing is bothering me in Fusion, why am I double clicking or having to triple click? They're always looking for ways to improve, and having you guys, that are working in it on a daily basis, if there's something that's a little annoying to you, reach out to Brightway's IT team. They love the feedback, that they know that Fusion is still growing, and they would love your feedback, especially since, we're kind of coming in and we do things a little bit differently. But they would love to have your feedback on that. So, any
Kim,
questions for me, guys?
I'm looking in the chat here. I did put the IT support in the email that we sent yesterday about a few things, including the topics that were brought up in terms of the PCI standards, the IT support phone number. I put it in the chat just in case. It was also in that email, and that email would have come from Agent Communications at Brightway. So that group can help you. There was an email. There was a question of what if a client simply does not have an email account. I think it's really important to encourage a client to get one. There's, they're free. You can show them how a number of different ways you can get them. It's just that client will retain way better. If they have an email address, there's critical information that carriers and you know your agent and you want to be able to communicate with them with, and without an email they will miss information or timely information. So and often so that's important.
And Charles, I've been getting that question a lot. Like, I think a lot of people on the call will probably be like, well, what if they're older and they're just too intimidated by it? What would they put in that field? Would they put anything in the field? Would you rather have it blank?
Guess it would have to be blank. Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki's going, yep, have it blank.
I
Yeah,
have
so
a question.
go
Sorry.
ahead. No, that's okay, Tracy, go
I
ahead.
have a question on, I still have an active policy on a gentleman that just recently passed away. There's no email address. His policy is still active because his wife, she's selling the house. So, like in that case, what do I do? He's deceased. The wife doesn't want anything to do with us because she's different. So, but the policy still, we don't need to market him. We don't need, because, what do we do in that regard?
Well, I think in terms of us marketing to them, that you will be able to see when you come over into Fusion to opt clients or even prospective, clients that you either lost or win back clients in the future to opt them out of campaigns. So you will be able to do that. There's probably nothing you'll be able to do about it right now on the Epic side that I know of.
Well, you can opt them out of the campaigns on the Epic side also. I just don't know how many of you really honestly did that.
Yeah, well, this just happened with this gentleman, but I know going forward, if we don't have an email address, we get charged for it or whatever. So if they're deceased, I don't feel like we should be charged for that. If there's not an email, but that policy is still active until it goes through all the court system and stuff, because
Yeah,
nobody said to cancel it.
right. I think I'm sure there's an exception to that, right? This is,
Okay.
kind of an extreme
Yeah,
example.
Tracy, I think the people you have on the phone right now, we really don't know how they charge that, or what the formula is. So I think in training, I'm sure Charles, in training, that's where you'll learn about that. And that's a question that I would ask them when you do go through the training. So just keep a note of that, Tracy, and when you go through the
Yeah.
training, make sure you ask that.
Okay, all right.
Well, we appreciate everyone's time. We're super excited. We're going to see a lot of you in onboarding. You're going to see a lot of us coming through. And again, thank you for everyone's time. Thank you,
Yeah, John.
Kim. I thought there was a question.
I did too.
Um,
No.
Thank you, Kim, so
What's
much
that?
for doing this. Looks like Leonard has a call.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. I think there's
Yeah.
maybe there's one question in there. As we've been scrubbing our Epic files, we've put none at none. Yes, you're going to need to take that out or try to get the real email, right? None at none is not real. So that will need to be. You'll want to clean that up again for all the reasons that if they don't want to have one, you're gonna have to leave it blank.
This
So
is
would
Len
that also
Travis.
then, would that also then be a good situation where they would want to opt that out? And
Yeah,
Nikki,
when they
if
come
they
over.
opt out, would that come over? I don't think we ever talked about that. If they opted out, will it opt out of your system in the conversion?
I'll have to check on that, but that's a good, it should. We'll check on that.
So then in that case, Karen, I think what you could do is then do the opt out and call me on that. And Karen, I went, call me on something else too, because I think you're one of my only ones that are using the program, the opportunities program. So call me on that too, Karen. So Nikki and I want to go over some of that with you, okay?
Len Travis, I do have a question.
Yep.
A lot of we're trying to clean up our Epic, a lot of the franchise codes, if you want to call it, where the policies are issued, as long as we have them in Epic and they're not assigned over to us, they're not under our number, are they still going to be able to go through the Fusion? And I'm talking specifically about the MetLife book.
Hold on.
I guess I'm not following you. So
So we have a big block of business that was the original MetLife, which is now the Farmers Foremost, of course. It was all written under 6BB 3531, still under that code. We recently been locked out of Foremost. And as long as we have it in Epic, I did send stuff to Edie, and there's a couple other ones like CNA and so forth where we're having the same issues. If as long as we have everything updated in Epic, will that transfer through and will Fusion be able to service it, even though they're locked under different LLCs with other companies right now?
well, will it come over? Yes, because it's a policy inside of your branch in Epic. So because Nikki, we're doing all companies, I mean, Foremost is coming over. So yes, it will come over into the Brightway system.
Okay.
As far as the servicing, I am not completely sure on that. Because actually this is the first time that has come up, to be honest with you. I think that we would have to talk to the carrier team and to Jared's team on the service center side. So
Right.
again, I would probably bring that up in your training, but as far as this, will it convert over to Fusion and the Brightway system? Yes, it will,
Yeah,
because it's
okay.
under there. The only thing that I would say on that is just to make sure, because at some point those policy numbers got a little crazy and they changed, and and some of them have changed. So just those would be the ones that I would target. I would probably run my expiration report for that carrier and just
Okay.
make sure that those policy numbers are correct, because if they're not, that's where we're going to see the issue.
Right. And that was my concern with the service. If I can't service them and now Brightway's going to start service them, we're going to be stuck. We need to
Yeah,
take
as far
care
as
of
the conversion though, they will come over. So just
Okay.
make sure that your policy number, effective date, expiration date are correct on those.
that. Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
So quick question. I know that we're focusing on current clients and active policies. We've got a lot of course, inactive people who have left us that we want to make sure they're cleaned up. And then we have a lot of prospects that have never been our client yet. Will those be converting over? Is there a way to, because I know there's some we probably really don't care about, but there's others that we know we want back or we want to get. How does that work, and what do we need to do there?
Yeah. So Nikki, prospects are coming over. Yep. So all the prospects will come over just like you have them in Epic right now. So I mean, to clean them up, it's going to be the same, the address, the phone number, the email, especially, to be honest with you, especially on your prospects, because the marketing to them is probably even more valuable. I wouldn't say more valuable, but very valuable, because you're trying to win them back or you're trying to win them. So you would treat it the same way as a current client. Now, if you don't want that person specifically, and you're like, no, I really don't want this one to convert over. You can inactivate, because Nikki, are the inactivated ones coming? You can forget the client too, actually. You can go in there and say, no, I do not want this person at all to even come over at all. If that is the case, call me and I'll show you how to forget a client, because I'm sure the forget a clients are not coming over. It's just your prospects, your history, and your current clients.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great question and point there. Thank
Yeah,
you.
very good question.
And same thing on Easy Links. Is there a way that we're gonna? I know that they're already working with Easy Links, but is there an easy way to just be able to throw all that in the Fusion system? Everything from the past
Nikki,
years.
I'm probably gonna let you take that one. Do you know anything about Easy Links?
There's been some discussion about that, so I don't know where that's landed, but I think that's certainly possible.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think Coleman, that's a TBD. I do know that I've been on calls too, that they're discussing it with Easy Links, and it seemed very positive that yes, they can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Thank
it's
you.
definitely something we want because
Yeah.
it's a little gold mine for you, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something that has been
Yeah.
definitely prioritized.
Brightway is really pushing that, so they're using their clout to get it pushed through, hopefully. Oh, did you see Karen's, Charles?
I mean, for those clients that don't check email, right? Then, some things with the carrier will default to mail. And then they'll you can still at new business, tell them about my Brightway, which will be on your website. It'll be the top right where they can log in and they can self-service. Um, um, but again, I think as part of new business, I would try to push folks to say important information happens over email, in terms of your policy and what's happening with your policy. So like I would try to turn some of these, if possible, we know that there's a lot of outliers, right? With either, just how personality types or maybe age ranges, whatever. But just try to focus on the benefit of having these things because it's a benefit to you, to their retention. It's a benefit to you, to cross-selling, to winning them back, to quotes not closed. And just that the immediacy of that information is going to happen over email versus, a letter sent to them.
And I think as far as the service side, I think the phone number is really, and they can service them still. It's not gonna not prevent them from servicing them.
Right.
They'll still be able to call in and get their service.
Yes.
I did also get a message to you guys that somebody who has already gone through this said that actually running the address report into the Excel was a lot easier. So instead of print previewing it, you go action generate report and sending that report down into an Excel file. So just know that that feature is out there. And if you have problems with it, again, just call me and I'll walk you right through it. So all our reports can be ran into an Excel file. So if you don't know how to do that,
Can you quickly show us how to do that? Because I know
oh,
that's
sure.
relatively easy, and I know
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing that. That's the only way to
Yeah.
keep track of 10,000 people.
Yeah. So hold on, let me share my screen again. Oh, great. Now I'm having that share. Okay. Okay. All right, can you guys see my screen, hopefully? Okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So when you're in the reports and marketing and you're actually in the reports, okay, so this is the report when you're in the criteria. So you just have to double click in to get there. So in the delivery options right here. Now it is actually going to be already set. You unclick the print because it defaults as the print, and then you hit save to disk. And then what it's going to ask you to do is basically name your file and what do you want it? You know, we want it as a Microsoft Excel workbook, and then hit finish. Once you do it here, your line will look like this. Then all you have to do is go to actions, generate report. And instead of it coming up as a PDF, it's going to say, do you want to open the file? And it's going to go to your downloads. And then it opens up in your Excel. Just remember it goes in tabs in the Excel though. So there's your report. So same exact report, just in an Excel file. And it's all right here in the delivery options. Just make sure that you double click on this and then change it to this. And you can do that with any report, guys, by the way. All right, any other questions?
That would have made life so much easier 11 years ago, Kim. Thank you so much for letting me
Well, I
know.
will tell you, I did kind of share that in training, but I know I threw a lot of information at you, but yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you did.
Anytime you guys have questions on any of this, just reach out to me, guys. Don't struggle. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, thanks again, guys. I appreciate your time. I think the data cleanup will be just so much more advantage for you guys and the clean version coming over into the Brightway system. So, and we're excited for you. I'm excited for you. I hope that everything goes smooth and we're working on our best to do that. So, but if you have any questions, please reach out to either myself or somebody in the Brightway system. We're more than happy to help you. All right.
Thank you all.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good day.